I'm going to out the biggest scam on LinkedIn and social media in this episode. And if you listen to my advice, if you go through this episode and stay to the end, it will give you total clarity about how you make a return on investment in social media. And I'm going to explain to you why many people, the majority of people, struggle to make money on social media. Welcome back to the podcast. I have been sunning myself in Barbados with my wife. It's our 8th wedding anniversary this month. And so if there's been a bit of a hiatus, that is why. Just before we get into today's episodes, go check out our 100 Leads Challenge. I'm running it on the 20th of August. You'll see a link to this in the description, but also hunt me down on LinkedIn and you will find it on there too. Okay, the biggest scam on LinkedIn and social media. And I'm going to air it and tell you about it because it is the number one reason that is meaning that people are putting time in and not making money. I'm all about people making a return on their investment, both in time, effort, money from social media. And what I see, and this has become more clear because of algorithm changes on every platform, is the biggest scam here is actually thinking that content is your primary method to getting leads and clients. In fact, the statement content is king is not true. And I'll tell you why. Content is king because you could do SEO. Well, the SEO game's just changed and all that stuff that mattered is gone because AI can answer it for you. So that's gone. Content is king. You can push out posts on social media and get them in front of the right people. That is gone. In fact, social media, and it may be a bit hypocritical for me to tell you this because I help you people make money from social media. Social media itself is a scam. It was sold to us as the means to connect with the world, but actually it was the medium to separate us from the world by putting a tech company in the middle between us so that we have to pay or work to earn the right to talk to the rest of the world. Never was that way. And the bigger scam is that these platforms convince us to compete for attention from people who used to follow us or still follow us. We now have to compete. It was get followers and then more people see your content and it all takes off from there. Now, no. Now we have to compete to even get our followers to see it because ultimately we are cheap labor. Social media and our content makes us free labor. We work hard to please a platform so that our content will be shown to the audience. And the platform decides who sees what, primarily based on does your content keep people on the platform longer? So in effect, what's gone from us sharing our insights, our ideas, our thoughts to inspire people and prompt people becomes, yeah, I need to do that. But actually, I have to do it in a way that keeps people on the platform and ticks the boxes of these tech companies' rules. Otherwise, I'm done for. Now, why does all that matter? You already know that. Why does it all matter? Because it's created a perception that the only way to make money is to try and compete. And think about that. That is a rat race. People who've left their jobs to start a business, quit the rat race, quit the 9 to 5 to start working for a tech company in the hopes that it might actually make them money. Well, let's just get down to the money of it, shall we? Content creators, who I would argue perpetuate this belief that competing with the algorithm is what you need to do. They perpetuate it. They make money from helping you compete because they have courses and tactics that you can learn, download and study and pay for to compete. When actual real business is not about competing, it's about finding a point of difference. To actually be successful, you have to find a way to create a competitive advantage. Competing in the same way that everybody else is not going to help you because it will be a survival of the fittest. And that fittest is whoever pleases the algorithm. Let's be real about this. We don't want to play that game. So let's look at the money. In 2025, if you want to be a content creator, you will, on average, need to work at that for 17 months. 17 months of study, effort before you will see anywhere near replacing an income that you're already getting from maybe an employment or you're getting from 17 months. At the end of that 17 months, if you're in the bottom 48% of content creators, you will make little to no money. Little to no money. If you're fortunate to be in the top 4% of content creators globally, top 4%, you are likely to make around $100,000, 80-odd thousand pounds. It's not exactly a great salary, is it? It's not exactly great money. This is the landscape of the content creator model. It's become very popular on social media and then sell that attention. So many of the creators you see on LinkedIn, they are for hire. So they're promoting tools and tactics and techniques that are paid for by a platform. Right now, LinkedIn is paying creators to promote LinkedIn. Their tools, technology will be paying to get people to sign up. So many of the tools and techniques that you're seeing are not exactly things that they do. It's things they do because they're being paid to do it. None of them grew by using the tools. None of them got there by using the tools that they now advocate for. That's the main way content creators make money. Partnerships, sponsorship, whatever you want to call it, partnerships. Yeah. Sometimes they're free partnerships where you get a cut of the sale, but generally it's partnerships in some way. The other way content creators make money is by selling their own course. Often you'll notice that they sell a course about replicating their success. So in other words, doing what they do and replicating it. So you have this almost Ponzi scheme of, hey, I've gone viral on LinkedIn. Here's my course on how to go viral on LinkedIn. It's not really replicable unless you do what they do. So the vast majority of people don't actually see any results. I mean, that's a conversation for the whole education industry, really, that people buy too much on impulse, and then don't complete courses. So it's arguable to say, well, is the failure rate of so many of these content creators' courses, is it the content creator or is it the buyer? Because so much of the courses are bought on impulse and people do not finish the material, let alone implement the material. So there's those two dilemmas there. Content creators selling be like me, do what I do. Yeah, which obviously doesn't translate to other industries. So the creator model, the model that most of the people who are viral successes on social media are doing, does not work for the vast majority of people. That's like saying buying the lottery tickets is a viable business model. It just does not work for the vast majority of people. There's a certain advantage you need to have. There's a certain investment level you need to do. There's a certain business model you need to run to make that work, which is basically not a business model that would fit easily into what a class as a normal business. Instead, what you need to be doing is thinking about how can I convert with less people, with less followers, less engagement. Because if I get more engagement, that's only going to be even better. Now, here's an interesting stat. Business owners that use social media are more likely to make higher returns. They're more likely to make a return on investment, number one, and more likely to make a return on investment more than a content creator will. This is stats. 87% of business owners can make and have made more than $100,000 a year using social media, right? Business owners. So business owners are more likely to make money from social media than a content creator would be. Two different models, two different results. So instead of trying to replicate your favorite creator, and I'm not dissing what they do, I'm just saying it's a different model. Instead of trying to replicate your favorite creator and try and build your business with a creator model, why not become a demand creator? Think about, and this is a reframe, this is a big shift I'm going to give you right now in how you think about your social media. It's not going to make you the most famous person on whatever your platform of choice is, but it will make you money. Your job is to create demand for your services. That's not promotion, by the way. That's not just promoting what you do. It's about creating demand. but creating demand with the smallest possible number. How can I, with 100 people in my network, and this is the question I'm going to leave you with. I'm going to unpack this in this podcast over the next few weeks. So you really want to subscribe to either the newsletter, it's free, or the podcast, because I'm going to unpack what a demand creator is and how it will make you money. When you decide to become a demand creator, you're choosing to try and convert at a high level by making your audience want to work with you. And that's not about virality. If I had 100 people in my network today, 100 perfect fit prospects in my network today, how could I show them that I have a solution to their problem and make that solution so appetizing they want it? Yeah. We're thinking often, how do I post to get people to message me? No. How do I show them that I have a solution to their problem and make them want it now? That's our goal. And how would you do that with 100 people? Now, the average content creator will convert at less than 1%. So that means if you scale that up and go, right, I've got 10,000 followers and 10,000 people saw your post, potentially you could convert leads at 0.1%. What does that work out at? Sounds like a really good number. It sounds like 10 leads, 10,000 views. But that assumes that those 10,000 views are the right people. So instead, think about if there's 100 people hanging around me today, what do they need to see from me to see that I have a solution to their problem? And how do I make them want it? 100 people. Everyone listening to me, you got 100 people hanging around you. How do you get those 100 people hanging around you right now in proximity to you to go, I need that thing Dean's offering. He seems to have an answer to this. I need to just jump in and get it. That seems to me to be the question that we should be asking. Now, the answer is not to kind of rinse the bottom of the barrel. The answer is to build a system to bring people into that proximity level where they see that you have an answer. Bring people into proximity. But that doesn't mean bringing 10,000 people into proximity. You would think that the more the merrier. But the more you do to get more, the more ineffective your approach is to get those people to buy. And I see this all the time, that the thing to get more dilutes the conversion. And so you have this kind of balance between conversion rate and your volume. So it's like a quality and a quantity. And the sweet spot is to work out, this is how much volume I've got. This is the kind of quantity I need out, and get that balance right. Because I'll tell you now, let's say you have only got 100 people hanging around with you, right? Is it the most effective thing to hope they see your content? Is that the most effective thing? Probably not. So you look at it and go, if I've got 100 people hanging around with me and I need 10 leads, 10 good quality leads, what's the best approach to get those 10 quality leads? It's not spamming people, but it's also not posting motivational quotes, hoping you go viral so that they'll see you. This is what I want you to think about. And I want you to think this week about, if I've got 100 people in proximity to me at varying levels of proximity, some will be just on the periphery, some will be really close. What do they need to come closer? And what do they need to tip over into buying? When you start thinking that way, it changes your frame. Doesn't mean you go and spam pitch people. It doesn't mean you go and spam promote stuff in your feed. You think about, I've got these people hanging around me. How do I get them to convert? And then how do I get more of those quality people around me again? And you just keep running that cycle. That's the difference between a content creator, which is there basically to serve two masters, to serve the audience and the algorithm. That is a compromise. To serve the algorithm and the audience is a compromise, which affects your conversion. Or a demand creator, where it's not about the algorithm, it's about your conversion and optimizing for conversion by looking at what does an audience, a smaller audience, need to see to convert at a higher level. And this is the fundamental shift. If you want to be a content creator, fine. But if that's not your business, you want to be a demand creator, somebody who's thinking about quality of conversion, not compromising to compete with everybody else. You want to think about not compromising what you need to say for the algorithm when actually your business model doesn't require the algorithm. If I can tell you now, if you did the right things on your LinkedIn or your Instagram in the next couple of days, you would start converting and all of your posts could be abysmally low, depressingly low, giving up levels of low. Like I got 5 impressions and 1 like, and the like was my mum, and you'd still be able to make money when you start thinking like a demand creator rather than a content creator. It's easy to confuse those two roles because volume feels good, but volume is not the game to play if you don't have it. Most of these content creators have, to their credit, done whatever is necessary to get the volume. Some would argue that it's harder in 2025 to get the volume than it was in 2024 or 2023, and I would say that's probably true. But if you don't have the volume, don't build a business, don't build a model that requires volume. It's very, very simple. Don't build a model that requires volume. You can build a hotel that has 500 rooms, or you can build a hotel that has 5 rooms. If those 5 rooms are real expensive, real luxury, real high quality, and you can make all of your money off selling out 5 rooms, it's a mistake to try and build a 500-room hotel. Don't build a volume model if you don't need volume. If you can go quality, small numbers, high conversion, high value, that is a better model, a more predictable model, and a more sensible model for most people, for the majority. But then you have to master being a demand creator and quit this content creator model. Content's important, but only if it's helping you create demand. If it's not creating demand, you're doing it wrong. You're following the wrong model. You need to be a demand creator. Stay tuned, because I'm going to be talking more about this in the next couple of weeks and about how to do it, the differences between it, and the things you might have been missing that's stopping you creating that demand.